Hi, hi. We're going to try to stay on top of War of the Spark spoilers. I'm really, really excited for this set, and I really cannot resist, even though it's pretty late right now, checking out the latest spoilers so that they're not taunting me all day tomorrow. Whoa, Wanderer is Emrakul. What? Who is Wanderer? What the fuck? Okay, all right. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right, let's start from the bottom. Potential spoilers for War. Okay, well, that's too many. This looks like a leak. This looks like not the intended spoiler method, so we're going to skip that. Product page is up. I don't really care about that. Zombie army tokens. Okay. Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. This is exciting. One triple blue. Ooh, okay. My friend sent me a message that said Labman Jace. Did you see Labman Jace? And now I understand what he meant by that. Jace at rare is surprising to me. I figured, given what a central character he is in Magic iconography and stuff, that he would be given a mythic slot. But I guess maybe they want him to show up more often because he's, or maybe they just made it entirely based on complexity and limited impact on the gameplay perspective. Target player puts the top two cards of the library into graveyard, draw a card. So like Thought Scour, except Thought Scour, if you mill them, you also have to make them draw, right? Or not, I don't really remember. Draw 7, then if your library has no cards in it, you win the game. So, So this is kind of interesting, like, this triggers on the next instance when you draw. So you can't win the game instantly by playing this ability. You need to draw another card on top of that. If this empties out your... Yeah, well, you see, it's just kind of strange to me that this text is repeated. But this is slightly different insofar as if there's 7 cards left and you -8 him, if you alt him, then you win. So there's like 2 places where you can see this card. One is just as a utility thing that is thought scouring and helping you draw cards, and maybe there's an outside chance that you get to alt it, or at least the pressure from potentially alting it and drawing 7 is going to gain you some life by putting the heat on Jace instead of you for a little bit. I don't know. I don't see it getting there. This mana cost is pretty prohibitive. And there's like better kind of card advantage engines than this. In Graveyard Synergy, I think it's better than a lot of other things because of the Thought Scour effect, but like it's just so much slower than other things that get stuff into your graveyard. So I don't see it working out there. As a Labman replacement, it's only 1 mana more, but it's a much more prohibitive costing. It's kind of harder to remove. It takes different removal at least. I don't know if those decks ever want Labman 5 through 8. Most of the time, there's some combo emptying your deck and getting the Labman out there. Yeah, I don't really see that either. So I'm gonna give this one a no. Jace, don't think so. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Interesting card though. Giant Growth is back? That sure looks like Giant Growth. Okay, that's cool. Can we appreciate the awesome music choice for the trailer? No, we cannot. Nailed the April Fool's joke, so it had a heart attack. Oh, banning Soul Ring. Alright, that's funny. Crushed Descent is a new card. Counter target spell, unless its controller plays 2, amass 2. Okay, sure. There's not much I can say about that. New spoiler. Oh, it's just like a location? Oh, it's like a plot spoiler. Like this thing. Alright. Promos and packaging. I guess there'll be new cards in here. Okay, well, we saw Tez. We saw the... No, we didn't see this. Each opponent sacks a creature. Control Lena plates. Okay, so I thought there would be stuff like this. I'm not surprised to see this sort of synergy. This card seems actually pretty decent. It's like Innocent Blood, right? But this is... maybe. I don't know. Okay. Oh, never mind. It was called Rainbow Druid. There was like a fake leak that came out called Rainbow Druid. And for a second I got a little confused and like totally rattled, but no, it had different abilities and a different card entirely. This is alright. This is pretty relevant because normally you're trying to bolt or otherwise destroy their dorks before they even have one turn of acceleration off them. So you're guaranteed at least one turn. So that's pretty good. Yeah, okay. Spell can be counter narc target. That's kind of interesting. I could maybe see this seeing play somewhere. In a lot of the decks where you're casting like your force spikes and stuff, or your other non-creature target or target non-creature spell counters, you're anticipating some sort of counter fight, like you're trying to close out the clutch play. So yeah, okay. All right, maybe. Both of these are definite maybes, and this card is always decent as well. Karn's Bastion. Okay, that's quite interesting. I guess I should be making predictions for these. These are interesting enough that I ought to. But I don't know, they're all just kind of like utility cards. I'm not really sure where they could show up necessarily. Bundle. Is this kind of like a fat pack, I guess? I don't know. I'm not, I don't feel like I am so incised either way. All of these are just like, I guess I could see it, but they're never going to be able to be format-defining powerhouses. They're never going to make or break a deck or anything like that. It's all just sort of, yeah, under the right circumstances, maybe. Which is a fine place for a card to be. Like it's not obviously under pushed, you know? Like it's not like these are things that they assumed were bad. Okay, Wanderer's Strike. What the hell is the Wanderer? Strange. This is one of the planeswalkers that we didn't recognize that was in the stained glass area. I can see why that guy thought that it was Emrakul, why they made that thread. Because it kind of looks like Emrakul's little thing, and then the tentacles coming out, and these sort of look like the fleshy ribbons and stuff of Emrakul, and same with this. Exile target creature, then proliferate. Interesting. Yeah, this card is fine. CG players getting it. Translation needed Portuguese. Well, it's not going to be anything too crazy. It's just a common. As long as it's your turn as first strike, sack another creature gets +2/+0. Crew like this, I could rule any sea I navigated. And it's your, yeah, whatever. Okay. Both Citadel. Davriel's Shadow Fugue. Your player discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. Sure. That seems okay. Angrat, Captain of Chaos. This looks like it'll be Planeswalker. Controls have Menace, -2 and -2. That's actually not too bad. Menace is a pretty nice keyword because it puts you in a situation where if they're chump blocking, they basically have to start playing 2 creatures per turn if they need to keep up with the chump blocking. So it's in a good situation where you're trying to close out the game, I guess, with a gigantic zombie army. So you're getting like 4 power off your zombie dudes probably, and or tanking some hits. I'm thinking this is going to be like a nice limited pickup. Nice and limited. Maybe the standard aspect. I think if there's a standard deck that'll be about a mass, it'll probably be blue-black, and this can be cast with just black, so that's much more imaginable. Okay. Mark tells us who the Wanderer truly is. April Fools. Okay. So let's see the Wanderer themselves. Oh, it's only an uncommon. I thought a brand new character like this, with such an intriguing name, and actually a totally non-name too, Legendary Planeswalker, with no name following, is very, very strange. Both of them have the same CMC. But yeah, like, for all the weirdness around this, I'm shocked that it's only an uncommon. Oh, non-common damage that would be dealt to you and other permanents you control. That's pretty nice. That is also pretty nice. Wow. That's actually quite a lot of hate coverage. This takes care of burn. This takes care of Tron and other things that just try to play one big threat. That is maybe enough of a coverage that this could be sideboarded in some kind of green-white mid-range type thing, where kind of the fair matchups, not the fair matchups, but the other mid-range matchups, it's designed from the ground up to beat, and then the matchups that just try to go straight to the face or try to go powering through with some gigantic guy, also pretty sweet. The problem is that Modern, which is the format I'm kind of thinking of with this, is entirely oriented at the thing that this doesn't deal with, which is just super aggressive, low to the ground creature-based decks. I guess this stops like Gurmag Angler or the activated Terramander. Mana cost is like fairly slow too. I'm becoming more skeptical, but this is quite a dichotomy for hate. This is quite a spread of decks to cover. So I'm going to say sideboard 10. Also Emrakul. We'll look at that post, but already I can see where they're coming from. Why? Why would Emrakul show up as this woman? Samut Tyrant Smasher plus Samut's Spirit. This is another uncommon planeswalker. She can control have haste. Target creature gets +1. You know, that's one of the cheaper universal haste granting cards in terms of like compared to like Urabask. It's 1 mana cheaper. The thing I don't get is why, I guess this is for multiplayer, right? Like the second ability, the fact that it gives them haste. But then, wait a minute, no, because you can only activate it on your turn. Huh? I don't understand. What's the point of it giving haste? Like, you can't use it on any other turn. It sort of makes sense if... am I just trying to do this too late at night? Have I already exhausted all of my brain cells today? Or is there like no point in the creature getting haste if creatures you control already have haste? Why does it give redundant haste? But this is okay. Maybe standard. Can't see it going any further than standard, but there is like the problem is with Urabask and stuff and other things that give universal haste on your side. There's ways to cheat them in because they're creatures. There's much fewer ways to cheat in planeswalkers than creatures. So a lot of these things, it's like you look at the cost and you're like, oh, that's actually pretty decent, but you're comparing it to cards that aren't being paid for their full mana cost typically. So I don't know. I guess it's just to make it so that this is the exact same text as his associated instant, which is kind of cool, but I feel like it's just even more confusing. And because this is an uncommon, it's pretty likely that you'll see it before you see this. Like, that's definitely a possibility. So it's not like you'll necessarily get the reference or whatever. So yeah, I'm very confused by this. Very confused by this. But whatever, let's just move on. We got more to look. Okay, we saw these before. Oh wait, no, we didn't see the guy himself. All right, this is kind of interesting. 2 damage is not that huge a deterrent, though. I would much rather it be something that actually has like a lasting impact on the board, especially since, you know, coming down with 3 loyalty, assuming you're wanting to downtick, he's going to die pretty dang fast. So I can't see this doing a whole lot of damage. I wish this was like more mana, more loyalty, and a bigger effect. I think at this kind of stage, when you're excited to play this card, they're not really going to care about taking 2 damage on many turns. The decks that will care more, the decks that are looking to like grind you out, are also the decks that are going to hold up a mitt full of cards quite often, right? So yeah, I'm not seeing it. Not seeing it. But we saw his Shadow Fugue already. Naga Eternal. It's just a vanilla, right? The Ravnik in Space program. What? This must be an April Fool's thing, right? I don't know. I can't tell anymore. Oh, this is a video. Vivian, Champions of the Wilds. Cast creature spells as though they had flash. Okay. One up turn creature changed Vigilance and Reach. Ooh, actually not bad at all. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Exile 1 face down and put the rest in the bottom of your library in your order. As long as it remains exiled, you may look at that card and you may cast it if it's a creature card. I actually really like this card. It's pretty cheap. This kind of protects it. You can start having more blockers back while not taking off the gas. It deals with flyers, which is a big problem that I think kind of the green beatdown decks are getting these days with Pteramander, Phoenix, Drakes, etc. I would love this card to have a home in Standard. I think it's not that hard to imagine. Just any sort of green creature deck. I think this is a lot of utility because it's card advantage. You have this to keep it alive or to keep yourself alive or whatever, because you can hold blockers back and because you can block flying threats. And then when you stabilize and you actually have a good board position, this just gives you nice card advantage. Yeah, I don't know, man. I want to think this is good. I kind of like the decks that play cards like this, and I want to believe that they can make it happen. So I'm thinking definitely Standard plausible. Let's even go so far as to say Standard likely. But that's as far as I'm willing to go. Vivian's Grizzly. How cute. She's got a nice big ghost bear. Top card your library. If it's creature card, planeswalker card, you reveal and put it in your hand. If you don't, put the card into your hand, put it in the bottom of your library. Okay. That's probably pretty decent in Limited. In Limited, you often want abilities like this to start churning through your deck when it gets to late game and neither of you really have much gas left and you're just kind of clawing in the air. Actually, though, when I say that, like that's Limited environments that don't have 36 planeswalkers. So it kind of feels like there's going to be things going on regardless. But no matter what, you're still going to need things to spend your mana on. And this is a nice enough mana sink. Generate some card advantage. It helps you get through your deck, find some action at this stage in the game. This is basically the only things you're wanting to draw if you're playing this sort of deck. Okay. Erratic Visionary. Draw a card, then discard a card. Clues with a Eureka. Yeah, you wish. You think you're just going to slam Omnipotence for free? You think it's that kind of a Eureka? But yeah, this card is fine. The 3 toughness is quite nice. It just loots. Okay. Angrath's Anger. Choose one. Someone sacrifices a creature. Target player sacrifices an artifact, sorry. Target player sacrifices a planeswalker. Okay, so they're not going so whole hog into planeswalker only relevant cards, which I anticipated they would. I think they're doing it less than I expected. But this is getting a little closer. It's close to like targeted removal of planeswalkers. Problem is with this in limited is that their limited environment is going to be full of planeswalkers. People are going to have multiple planeswalkers. So the forced sacrifice is like kind of less of a big deal, I would think. I don't know. It's really hard to judge these cards before you see the entire set, but I think it's like this is really the mode that matters a lot. Honor the God Pharaoh. That card draws a card to mass 1. Sure. I mean, it's not going to beat Faithless Looting, that's for sure. Kol Bolas Dragon God. Here we go. This is like one of the true iconic cards of the set. I can't really see it getting more hype than this. You ready for him to also be an uncommon? Oh, this is like a leak. Oh, I don't know if I'm happy I saw this. But this is much more reasonably costed than I would have thought. Which is a strange thing to say with such a bizarre mana cost. Has all loyalty abilities of all other planeswalkers on the battlefield. Awesome. That is so cool. I think that's actually so cool. You draw a card, each opponent exiles a card from their hand or permanent they control. That's pretty nice. Start target creature planeswalker, it's sweet. Then the alt is pretty crazy. This guy's kind of hard to evaluate. Again, the static ability really depends on environment. The mana cost is quite doable, even in standard. We have a very rich mana base in standard right now. So I think this has a home in standard. Bolas himself. Standard, likely. Now, let's be even more bold. Can we see this happening in Modern? In Modern, this feels like edge cases. What planeswalkers are even really played in Modern? Or we can even go even crazier. In Legacy, the problem is like the big planeswalkers, that the ones that you're really excited for this ability to do some work with, are going to be doing something very disruptive the turn they come down. And then you have to survive and untap with Nicol Bolas in order for you to start having fun with it, right? So to me, this isn't at all a Fucktron card. Just because they Karn or Ugin doesn't really get you anywhere, because they'll just Karn or Ugin away the Nicol Bolas. Plus, you know, a lot of those, you really need the big loyalty that they come down with, which Nicol Bolas doesn't have, and kind of takes a while to get there. So it kind of feels like we're running this mostly just on the utility of these abilities. But this first one is pretty good. The fact that it's not discard, but exile. I guess they can always just drop a land. Like, this becomes not that great late game. And actually early game too, that's when their hand is most likely to have a bunch of chaff that they can get rid of. But it is strict card advantage. Like, you draw a card, that's sweet too. Man, I don't know. This is a really hard one to evaluate. In Standard, I think it'll have a home just because it seems fairly pushed. I'm sure this is the sort of card that they push in development. And if it didn't have a home at all, I think they would rework it until it did. Beyond that, I'm skeptical. Standard, I'm gonna say standard. Standard, it's like it kind of wants its own deck, too. Maybe to take advantage of this better. I'm still gonna say standard likely, but that's it. Ah, what a weird card. I love it. I'm actually super in love with this design in general. It's so not what I expected from Bolas, and then at the same time, it's like, oh, this actually fits so well with his personality. All of the things that we're seeing here, and all of the plot that we've kind of inferred. So, yeah, I love the design. I hope it's good. Yeah, I'm thinking standard, maybe. Teo, the Shield Mage. You have Hexproof. Make a wall. That's cute. It's Wall Man. This is pretty nice, but I don't think so. Mayo. Mayo. I just don't see this really getting you there. It's like things like Leyline of Sanctity are nice because they demand a specific answer. This, you're going up against Burn, and it basically just reads like gain 6 life. You know, they're just gonna bolt this twice instead of bolting your face, which hey isn't bad, but you should be doing better things. This doesn't even fly. And the art, look, he could just make it up here. The Phoenix just splats into it. But no, it's on the ground. It's Light Shield. Yeah, okay, cool. He's got like a shine. But that's not great. Burning Prophet. Okay, that's fun. Interesting. What will this win? What will this mean? Why? Oh, Spooky Skull. Alright, that's a card, I guess. Margaret Bolas, we saw that before. Here's Dam Breaker. Look at that, Dam Breaker. Big Proliferate Leviathan. Enemy flees, send the sea to pursue them. Okay. Rising Populace. Populace. I like it. Very flavorful. The art, very haunting. A capture of grief, unlike we've seen in a lot of Magic art. Seeing this sort of stage of the story. It seems actually decent too. Like in Limited, I think this could be a house. Just because it seems like we're going to be throwing a lot of Planeswalkers around. Things are going to be dying all over the place. So, I'm curious about this, but Mad Cadices. We from this. Gideon's Triumph. Target opponent's target. Oh no, I can't highlight text anymore. Oh, it didn't pop up because the thing was my camera was in the way. But I just got a little pop-up from Chrome saying that my text highlighting extension crashed. Unfortunately. Victor Gideon player. Okay. This is interesting. This is a little outside of what we've seen in White's Creature Pie too often. Usually you can destroy attacking and blocking creatures, but this is sacking, attacked, or blocked this turn, and going up to multiple creatures sacked, like multiple creatures destroyed in one spell is... That isn't a wipe either. Pretty rare for white. Alright. Yeah, this is like good utility, I guess. It's just like a limited card. Kira, Behemoth, Beckoner. Ah, ooh, whoa. Okay, she comes down with a lot of loyalty. Untapping one thing per turn is pretty sweet. That's like pseudo ramp. And in the deck where that's most powerful, which is like the enchant land tribal, where you're spamming Utopia Sprawls and things like that. This becomes like big ramp. And that's also the same deck that wants to play big boys and start drawing you cards. I don't know, man. I think it's like maybe a little too slow for those decks compared to the other sort of ramp spells that you're playing at 3. Normally it's like if you can get up to 3 mana and start casting your ramp spells, those are going to be good no matter what. Whereas this requires you to kind of maintain a board presence while you ramp, you know, like you still need to have your super value lands. So I'm not entirely sold, but I want to believe. In standard, I don't really see what this does necessarily. Like I suppose it's nice just to be able to untap your big attackers and make them your big blockers. But I'm saying, see me in the enchant land tribal ramp decks, which by the way are not really real decks. they're kind of like fringe decks, but I'm a big fan of them, and I'm a big fan of the sort of big mana degeneracy that they enable. So I would like to see them inch up a little bit in the tier list because of this edition. We'll see if that's true or not. Kaya's ghost form. Ooh. Okay, so this is pretty rare. That it triggers both on death and being exiled. Very rare for a card to care about it being put into exile and to save it from being exiled. The fact that it enchants Planeswalker, also unprecedented. So this is a very exciting card, even though it's just a 1 mana common. It's kind of nice. It saves you from like exile board wipes, which is cool. You can put this on your big threat, drop your exile board wipe. You're still in business. It's kind of cool that you can like reset your planeswalkers. You put this on a planeswalker and then you alt it or whatever, and then you get it back with starting loyalty. It's pretty nice. This sort of like utility card is normally like worse than it seems because you just start kind of dreaming up your ideal scenarios for it. But this kind of does enough. I'm gonna, even though I haven't really been bothering with a lot of the commons because it's just like limited stuff, we'll see play in some constructed deck. Believe it! I don't know, I think this card is really cool. There's just so many weird edge cases that it covers. I don't know. That's the exact thing I said that you do when these cards come out that causes you to misevaluate them, is you think of the weird edge cases that it solves. But I just think it's so cool. Ooh, another, so this might be a cycle now of colored legendary artifacts. Surprised this isn't equipment, but I guess the Planeswalker's using it. She's not going to let some filthy, grubby creature get its paws on it. Okay, X, discard a card. Look at the top X cards of your library. Put a creature card, committed conflict cost, X or less from them on the battlefield. That's cool. That's very cool. I don't know if it's good. Of course, if it was like a full search of your library, it would probably be nuts, because then it turns into just the ultimate toolbox card. The problem is that it can just totally whiff, right? Like you can't really do anything with this until fairly late in the game when you're ready to pump a bunch of mana into it and dig deep enough that you're confident that you'll hit something. Unless you're messing with the top of your library. But that means that you're not playing mono green, you're not just playing creature go sideways deck, and then it's less likely that you're hitting creatures. See here in the comments pointing out wilderness recommended reclamation. So maybe this is like a nice big mana outlet for those decks, but I feel like that's not the part of the deck that's lacking. Not that that deck is really lacking anything. I think it's doing quite well in standard. I guess that's the only home I can really imagine for it, because this thing needs a lot of mana. Maybe in some big standard deck. That's about all I can see, though. The idea of discarding a card, paying a bunch of mana, and it just whiffing is like so sad. And it can happen. I mean, the odds are against you, but it's still like a non-guaranteed thing. And it'll just make you wish that instead of drawing Vivian's Arkbow in the first place, you would just draw on the big creature that you're trying to get into play with it. So, I don't know. I'm not really seeing it. Ooh, Teferi. Each opponent can only cast spells. Can cast spells only at any time they can cast a sorcery. Okay, cool. Very tiny. Very cheap for that effect. I'm actually pretty surprised. This shuts out control decks. You thought the old Teferi control deck mirror was tedious and annoying. How about the version where you can't counter each other's spells? Actually, that's probably less tedious and annoying. Cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. Cool. Okay, alright, I'm into this. I think this is a lot of utility. There's quite a few decks that this hurts. But again, these sort of like broad but incomplete hate cards I can't quite evaluate very well. Because it's like, again, you just gotta think of the miraculous scenarios where it's like, yeah, he tried to do this, and now he can't. Shut down. But not the like 12 other lines that now have opened up because you didn't do something else, because they are just totally willing to change their strategy, and the second strategy is like just incrementally worse, you know? The fact that you can still kill him, it's pretty sturdy for 3 mana. You can still kill him. This is nice too. The fact you draw a card as well, that's pretty nice. I'm still a fan of this card. I think this is actually going to be able to get there. In blue-white control and standard, which I don't know. I guess it doesn't really need it, but I feel like this is the part of their curve where it can slot in quite nicely. In modern, I don't think it's enough. It just kind of gets blown up too easily. Standard, sure. Modern. See, this one, is there something really crazy you can do with this that I'm not thinking of? It does kind of help protect him. Play a bunch of sorcery, speed removal, and stuff like that. And you drop this, and then you hold mana up, and you can protect him, or you can play some great sorcery utility spell at the end of their turn, in the way that normally these decks would just be forced to play cantrips and stuff. I don't know. Blue-white control in modern doesn't really need to do any of this. It's just not like prison-y enough. Like, this is pretty prison-y, but it's only prison-y against a pretty narrow subset of decks where it actually locks them out of what they're trying to do. Most of the time, it's just sort of like an incremental disadvantage. Teferi's Time Twist, that sounds like a dance move. Flicker something. Alright, well, that's fun. Safest place for you is not now. Alright, send them through time, baby. Liliana's Triumph, we saw that already. Nikea. Ooh, expensive. A lot of these Planeswalker cards have been very cheap. So I'm excited to see how far they're going to go with this. Oh, just an uncommon again. All these uncommon Planeswalkers. I'm not that excited. And I feel bad for the character. You're telling me you assassinate the Ghost Castle, the Ghost Council, you kill the Obzedat, you successfully rank up from a supplemental product character to a main storyline character. They're just gonna make you an uncommon. You're gonna have one ability. This is pretty crazy though. This is pretty rare that they have this effect. And full on exile Tiger Creature. This is a pretty wild card. All right, I take it back. This is still awesome. This is still badass. How good is this though? How good is this? This is a effect we see so rarely that I have a hard time judging it. But every time we've seen it before, it has been significantly cheaper than this, and it still doesn't see play. Like, it's just not worth, like, the few decks that are oriented around hexproof stuff like Boggles and, like, that's it, to go out of your way to play something like this when there's just better ways to combat it. Board wipes and stuff. So no, I'm not seeing it. And this not even like in limited, I cannot imagine when you're gonna draft. Well, actually no, in limited this is such a powerful thing. So maybe in limited this is still worth considering, even though it's so expensive. It feels like this is gonna be a fairly low to the ground limited environment. Like one where, I don't know, like a really momentum-y based limited where it's like maybe the games will go long, but one person will just kind of steamroll. I don't know. I really don't know. It kind of feels like you'll be playing a lot of low-end stuff to get a very dominant board position, and then just kind of close out the game with all of your planeswalkers and all of your giant zombie army, or you know, you have like all of your proliferators going, things like that. They're kind of all like snowball-y type mechanics that if you have the cards that proliferate makes good. Like the rich get richer, you know what I'm saying? All right, this is like a pain artist or whatever that's called, blood artist. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's fun. This is the Wanderer, saw this before. We saw this before. We saw this before. It's pretty cool. You know what? I'm going to say that this is actually going to see server for your control in many formats. The more I think about this card, the more awesome it is. And even in a format like Legacy, this has big impact. Like, think about it. Think about it. It's turn 2. You're trying to go off. I don't know what you are. Well, I don't know. Oh, no. Here's the real example. It's turn 2. They're trying to go off. Your miracles. They're trying to go off in your miracles. You either just straight up counter their tendrils or whatever. No, not tendrils, but whatever need be the linchpin of their combo. You just hit with this. Because most combos in that format aren't creature-based, but are non-creature spell casting based. Or you let them dig a little deeper. You'd first try the negate or the remand or something. They force that. Now they're at major card disadvantage. And you just veto the force. Surprise, surprise. Actually, no. In that sort of scenario, you would just veto the original thing. Because that way, like, remand or whatever doesn't give them the card back. But you know what? Yeah, the more I think about it, this card's pretty nuts. I think, here you go somewhere. Karn's Bastion. We saw this before. I don't think I made a note of it. I guess I should try to predict whether or not there will be proliferate.deck. And I'm thinking no. There will never be a proliferate deck. Like maybe in standard, but even in standard, I kind of feel like there's just much more synergistic things that you're going to be doing. There's much more things that are the engine and the win con in and of itself. That having separate engine pieces that are just trying to drive the moving parts of your deck is really unnecessary. That's how I'm feeling right now. Of course, there's other proliferate cards to be spoiled. We still had the Insanity that was Flux Channeler. But I think this is the engine card you need. It doesn't do you that much good to proliferate a little bit on top of that. And if it just has to be faster than this. 4 mana, 5 mana basically, because you're denying yourself a mana then. Wonder is Emrakul. I don't know. The design certainly looks similar. How are people responding in the comments? Oh, that's awesome. I'm in Merritt Lynch. All right, whatever. We have caught up on spoilers. It took a while, but I'm certainly having fun doing this. I hope you're having fun watching. We will probably be back this time, this place tomorrow with another long ass video. Okay, bye bye.